From the Opupco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. Press Row is sponsored by Cox High-Speed Internet. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we're going to do our weekly inbox segment where we take your questions and attempt to answer them. Let's go right to the inbox. And Les has our first question. I just heard Tony La Russa take responsibility for the miscommunication with his bullpen Monday night. I'm still waiting to hear Bob Stoops do the same for the preparation of his team Saturday. Barry, we don't think this is Les Miles, by the way. But what do you think about that?
Well, I sort of think Bob took a little responsibility. After the game, he said we got out-coached. I mean, he's a prideful man. He's not falling on any swords. He's not coming in sackcloth and ashes. If that's what you're wanting, you got a long wait. But he did say we took some, he said we got out-coached. And, I think that's about as far as we're going to see. I think it's clear that OU wasn't prepared well. I think there was a lack of focus, and that lands on the coaches. Now, what do you do about it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think there was some responsibility taken. Now, maybe some fans would prefer more when you've got a coach that continues to get raises in his salary. At the price point that he is, maybe he should fall on his sword. But Bob Stoops isn't normally going to do that. But I agree with Barry. I think we've seen about as much responsibility taken. Fans might like to see more, but I doubt we're going to see any more from Bob Stoops. Let's go back to the inbox. This question is from Mildred. Mildred asks, why are the media trying to promote Stanford over OSU? The media are saying that Stanford's next game, USC, should jump OSU in the BCS. Craig James of ESPN said they should be ahead of OSU. What do you think about that, Barry?
Well, I think, first of all, yes, this is a legitimate email. I do get emails from people named Mildred. Tiffany's not so much. I'm not that popular with the Generation Z or whatever it is nowadays.
Work on that. We'll work on that.
But the Mildreds of the world love me. So I don't hear a lot of this. I don't hear a lot of sentiment for OSU to be jumped. I mean, I think the pollsters and the computers love OSU. I don't think beating USC is going to jump Stanford over Oklahoma State this week, and particularly next week when Kansas State's coming to Stillwater and down the road going to Lubbock, playing Oklahoma and Bedlam. Cowboys are in great shape to protect that high BCS ranking. If OSU wins out, all the pundits in the world won't matter.
That's right. And I talked to Jerry Palm Sunday after the shakeup on Saturday with Wisconsin losing and OU losing. And he basically said if OSU wins out, it's going to be really hard for anybody to jump them. And that includes Stanford. And that's because OSU has such a great mark in the computer rankings. This week, they're number one in all but one of the computer rankings, and they're two in the other one. And at this point in the two human polls, OSU's number 3, Stanford's number 4, and they swap spots in the other human poll. So, that is the kind of advantage with the computer polls that I'm the same. I heard Robert Smith on ESPN on the BCS Selection Show talking about Stanford passing the eye test over OSU. I'm sorry, they've beaten Texas on the road, A&M on the road, Missouri on the road. To me, they have passed the eye test for sure.
Stanford has not beaten a team with a winning record. Nobody's going to get all fired up because they beat one.
Yeah, exactly. All right, back to the inbox. This comes from Bob. What has gotten into the Big 12's mind, if its powers to be have one? West Virginia? What's wrong with Louisville, BYU, or even taking a shot at Notre Dame?
Well, it sounds like David Bourne and some other people agree with you. I mean, I tell you what. Well, here's what's got into the Big 12. They're losing Texas A&M. They're losing Missouri. They lost Nebraska. At some point, you got to get a football program in that people want to see. West Virginia has name brand in football. Louisville has a better athletic program. It's closer, but they don't play the football that West Virginia does. When you punch channels, when you're channel flipping on a Saturday, and you get to Louisville, Texas Tech, or Louisville, Oklahoma State, You're not as likely to stop as if you are if it's West Virginia, Oklahoma State, or West Virginia, Texas Tech. West Virginia has the name brand. The networks want West Virginia.
Definitely, and I think that just the name brand and those matchups, that's what people are pointing towards if you're the Big 12. Now, it sounds like there's some division of who wants Louisville and who wants West Virginia in this discussion, and there may be sort of a battle brewing between the remaining Big 12 teams. But if you're looking for viewers on TVs for football, this is a slam dunk, Barry. I think they have to go with West Virginia.
Yeah, and I actually hope they get both of them. I have nothing against Louisville or Brigham Young. I mean, heck, Notre Dame's not coming for football, but I'd like to see Louisville and West Virginia get in. But if you have to pick one, I'm picking West Virginia just because of the football.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to go back to 12, you might as well go for both of them right now. All right, back to the inbox, and our last question comes from Tom. Just wondering if this was the worst performance in the history of Owen Field. I know it was 41-38, but OU was a 30-point favorite with a 39-game home winning streak. Barry, what do you make of that?
No, it's not the worst. It's not the worst performance in Owen Field history. Go back 10 years to Bedlam, 2001 Bedlam. One thing you can say about Texas Tech was a solid team. Not a great team, but a solid team with a hot quarterback and a savvy coach, lots to play for. That Bedlam game in 2001, OSU was 3-7, had no quarterback of note. Also, Poe guy started. Josh Fields was a freshman who just came in out of the blue in the middle of that game. No reason to think that Oklahoma State could pull that upset. That 2001 game kept Oklahoma out of the likely national championship game. This game, not necessarily. It still hadn't kept them out, and there was no assurance they're going to make it anyway. They could lose Stillwater, all kinds of places. That was the stunner of all stunners. Yeah. The point spreads get bloated. Yeah. With the increased scoring that we see in college football, a game like Tech, Oklahoma is a 28, 29-point spread, which
ridiculous.
It's crazy. You can't compare them. Bedlam, 2001, worst performance in OU history.
Now, I will say this. My knowledge of OU football, at least from a personal standpoint, doesn't go back as far as Barry's. But I would have to say that this game, this Texas Tech game, it has to at least rank in the top 5. I mean, you had a team of worst performances. You have a team that has its sights clearly set on a national championship. They've been pointing that way all year. They had a less than a spectacular performance in the last few weeks, something that they wanted to try to build on, be better. You knew Tech was bringing a pretty good offense, an improved offense in, and to just go out and to be basically non-competitive, Barry, to me, that's the thing that was shocking, the 3 and outs, the way Texas Tech marched up and down the field, that was really shocking. And so I put it in the top 5 at least for worst performances.
Well, probably so. I haven't put a pencil to just the Owen Field aspect, but when you think about the most shocking defeats in OU history, 57 Notre Dame to end the winning streak, the Arkansas Orange Bowl at the end of the 77 season, Bedlam 01. This ranks on that list.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us this week on the Press Row. And be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.